Welcome to the PodAskew Podcast. I be C.J. and you know my first mate, Rico.
Why is the rum always gone?
What's going on, man?
Oh, dude. Okay, so...
Well, before you get into it, I want to do a proper intro. Welcome, everybody, to the PodAskew Podcast. I am C.J., and with me, as always, is my hetero life mate, Rico. All right, man, go ahead.
So, for our listeners, first off, I want to, for those who don't know, and for those who do know, this has been a rough couple fucking, this has been a rough month.
Yeah.
And it's continuing getting more and more rough. There's other random shit that just keeps piling on. Friends I know, they have just lost some loved ones as well. So, like, this is just an awful fucking month. Like, Grumpy Cat died.
Oh,
fucking...
Don't get me started. Did you see my reaction to that?
To Grumpy Cat?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I lost my shit on some people. Like, no.
Because they're grumpy?
Yeah, because, like, it's a fucking grumpy cat. Like, look, I'm an animal lover. You know I am. I love my dog. I got much love for animals, and I never want to see any animal tortured, anything like that. This cat was a cat that just laid there and looked grumpy, and its owner used that to get fucking rich. Kiss my ass.
I mean, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. No, Mark and I had it out in a good way. Like, we're fine. But Mark and I had back and forth on Twitter, and he did bring up a valid point. He said, yes, the owner's probably a colossal tool for having done that. However, you can still feel bad about the cat dying. So,
and that's how I feel. I mean, the cat died fairly young.
Well, I don't know how old it was.
7?
I don't know. I don't know what a cat's normal life expectancy is. I'm sorry, I don't. And I'm not being mean, I just don't. But
7's kind of young for a cat.
Well, okay, but still. Like,
motherfucker, I'm just saying.
Motherfucker, Doris Day died, like, the week before, and nobody gives a shit, and that's much more important.
I mean, I was upset Doris. I mean, I didn't love Doris Day. I knew she was like...
But you know where she fits in the pantheon of famous people.
Yeah. I mean, she and Sinatra were in a fucking movie together. I got respect. They were in a movie called Young at Heart. Really good movie, actually.
Speaking of Sinatra movies, I was just watching Ocean 11. But anyway, not his.
Right. It's not Sinatra's movie.
It's inspired by... Shut up. All right, go ahead.
All right, look. What I'm saying, what I was trying to fucking say before I was rudely interrupted by the host. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this your show?
No, it never has been, apparently.
Okay. So, in all seriousness, my grandmother passed away.
Yeah.
And I want to give a proper thank you to you, CJ, for actually posting about that on Twitter and not even going to specifics of what I was going through, but just asking for some love and support. And all the listeners that are listening that did reach out, I really, really appreciate it. It did put a smile on my face. And
yeah, you definitely got some good love there. I was really happy to see that, and I'm happy to our fans that did. And those who didn't, that might have seen it, that's fine. We're not judging you, but I'm just saying, to the ones who did, thank you.
Right.
I felt really shitty, buddy, because in circumstances like that, I feel like I should be there. Now, obviously, it's hard for me to get to Oakland, but just how I was raised, you be there for your close friends when moments like that happen. And that was the only way I felt like I could do it. So, And
it was much appreciated, and I so yesterday was her memorial service thing.
Okay.
And I mean, look, I'm not the most liberal churchgoer.
No.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, oh fuck, it's just. It was at a Lutheran church, and there was a lot of sit down, stand up, hymn, sing, cry, cry, cry. Jesus, 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 sit back down, stand back up. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Like,
yeah,
fucking, stop telling me to stand up and sit down, and fucking.
Did you have to kneel at any point? Because in Catholic churches, you kneel as well. It's stand up, sit down, kneel.
I wouldn't ever feel comfortable kneeling in a Catholic church.
No, well, the kneeling portion...
You know what I mean.
Oh, you had to go there, really?
Yeah. Well, all right, look, so
Yeah.
as much as I'm not a religious person, even remotely, it was good to see, something for my grandmother.
Yeah.
Who I don't even know if she was super religious, but I think she went to the church to be with her friends. She was at that point of being a senior where she was like, this is where everyone goes. This is our club.
Right.
So
right.
it was good to see my majority of my fucking family there. Cousins I haven't seen in a very long time. We all, my mother's side, the Amdahl side, has spread the fuck out. Some live in Florida, some live in fucking.
Do you want the last name?
Yeah, it's
okay.
my other last. It's my mother's last name. It's my other last name.
I'm just looking out. Go
Hey
ahead.
man, I passed around so many of the stickers of the logo to my cousins.
You hoard us out at the memorial service?
No, I hoard us out today at when we spread the ashes.
Okay, that's a little better. I mean,
no, I wasn't like sending out like little wafer thins at a church, being like, "Peace be with you. Do you like podcasts?" Like, I wasn't doing that shit.
Body of Christ, and here's a sticker. Body of Christ, here's a sticker.
Peace be with you, and
have a sticker.
Yeah, here's a sticker. Like, oh, you like crosses? Well, here's not one. Here's me. Here's a fat guy and a skinny guy talking about their dicks and movies.
Here's the one we bear every week.
I saw cousins I haven't seen for a long time because,
cool.
Like I said, we spread out like a fucking plague.
Did your brother go? Did your brothers go?
My brothers. Incidentally, it's weird. Today is my brother's birthday. Both of them.
Oh, no. Oh, right, because they're twins, right?
Yeah. So happy birthday, Joel and Alex. I
Happy
know
birthday.
You'll never listen to this.
Well, hey, listen. I think they bought T-shirts, or one of them did.
Well, I think they bought T-shirts to give to me around Christmas or my birthday.
No, it was one adult and two kids.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Well, I think they might be giving it to them for Christmas.
Okay, but they still.
It's fun. It's funny. I gave my nephews each a sticker, and they immediately stuck it on a fucking wall. And I'm like, oh shit, that's not where it's supposed to. And I gotta tell you, dude, these stickers
are tough.
Stick. Like I don't have any nails because I'm a nervous like nail biter, and I had to have Steph like rip it off the wall. I was like, this is durable.
By the way, speaking of stickers, real quick, I did send the stickers up for the Golgothans hockey team, so hopefully we're going to be on their cooler in the next week, which will be awesome.
Terrific.
And the tournament's the week after, so that'll be great.
And Maddie, if you're listening, I am planning on sending out your sticker as soon as I can. It's been so fucking chaotic. I haven't been near a mailbox.
And apparently a couple heavy hitters in Kev's world are at that tournament, even though Kev won't be there this year. So I sent a few extras, so he said he might be able to get one in their hands. It'd be cool. Either way, it doesn't matter. We appreciate Midnight Smoke and him offering us space on the cooler and promoting the show. Also promoting the show, Henry, for rocking the T-shirt on social media. So
from across the pond, yes.
From across the pond, yeah. Now, I know April ordered one because I talk to her all the time. I know you do, too, a lot. I don't think she got it yet, but she said it's coming, and I trust her. I mean, well, I can see it in the order number, so I'm sure it got ordered.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
But no, my brothers did not go there because they're not of that family.
Yeah, but I didn't know how much. So you'll have to one day lay out the whole family tree for me. I don't want to do it today, but
it's really easy. All my siblings are from my father's side,
but
with the same father, different
mothers. Okay, that's
so. I mean, and it's really funny because all my cousins on my mother's side today were asking about my brothers because they all grew up together.
Sure.
They weren't related, but they were friendly with each other.
Yeah.
So they're like, "How's Joel?" And I'm like pulling out like Facebook. I'm like, "Here's what Joel looks like, and here are his kids, and blah blah blah." So they didn't show that was yesterday, and today we got up at like 1:15. What the fuck? And it was pouring rain here. We drove to my uncle's, who lives like a mile or two away from us over here.
Sunny is all out.
I'm sorry?
Sunny and bright and nice out.
No, it's still fucking raining.
Oh, okay.
And my uncle is the. I don't want to get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is a captain of the fire department for the San Francisco Fire Department tugboat.
Oh, no shit.
So, like, I think it's number 35. Like, it's a famous thing on the pier in San Francisco.
Okay.
So he is like, if there's a fire, if they need to do a rescue, he is the.
He's the guy.
He and his crew. Yeah, he and his crew do that. Like in like I want to say 89. I don't know because it was before I was born. There was a massive fucking fire in the Bay Area, and he like helped like curb a lot of the flames.
Well, there was a massive earthquake that year in the Bay Area.
There was an earthquake, but there was also a fire. And I want to say it was like 92 or something.
I was only saying because I was thinking maybe the fire was a result of the earthquake. But anyway,
it could be either way. But I know. So we went on.
Sorry, I saw that earthquake live because there was a baseball game.
Right.
Because if I recall, and Steph actually mentioned on the sports episode that we just put out that she remembered on the day she was born, the Dodgers beat the Athletics for the World Series.
Yeah,
and no, it wasn't that game. No, because it was the Giants.
No, it wasn't the game. It was.
I was thinking it might have been the game, but it wasn't. But because the Giants game, it was during the World Series because I remember it was on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
It was definitely the same year she was born, but so I think it was 88. It was definitely an earthquake in 88, but I don't know if it was because also there was a huge fire.
Yeah, I got you.
So I had never been on this tugboat, and this is like a real treat. Like my uncle Jeff was like, I could say his name. It's whatever. He did the whole thing. Like we had a whole group of excuse me, of like 15 to 20 people, and then his crew on this tugboat, and he's going through all the rules and regulations. We had to sign waivers and everything. We had to wear vests or not wear vests and blah, blah, blah. And we went out and spread my grandma's ashes, and then he had lost his wife. God, I want to say 4 years ago.
Okay.
And we spread, he had her ashes. He just, held on to them, and he said, look, we'll find a good time to do it. And so he literally, spread the ashes of his mother and of his first wife.
Wow.
And it was heartbreaking, man. We were all crying. It was,
sure.
And all my mom's siblings were there. It was like they all got their shit together, all packed their shit. They all came to us, and we just made it work. It was sad, but
yeah, those events are weird in that they're definitely sad. So I'm not discrediting that in any way, but they're also really good because you tend to get together in ways that you don't unless an event like that happens. Do you know what I mean? And it allows you to...
it's melancholy.
Right, and it allows you to... But it allows you to reconnect with people sometimes that you lose touch with and sometimes reform bonds and whatever. So it's always a weird...
It's good.
thing.
Yeah, you're right. It's because I hadn't seen... not that way I have anything against my cousins. It's just...
Sure.
We'll write to each other. They all live far away, and then... Even I have a cousin who lives super close by to me right now, but we just never exchanged numbers, and he's not really been on Facebook. But we were staying next to each other, we were bullshitting, and we were very close when we were children. That's the other thing, guys, is I am battling the tail end of a fucking cold. So if you hear me cough, I apologize. If I sound kind of sick, if I sound kind of stuffed up, this month sucks, dude. May
it's almost over.
Can kiss my dick. This is ridiculous.
Well,
but that being said, despite me having a flu last week, and unfortunately Steph doesn't have the flu, but she has a cold. We binged watched so much shit.
I'm sure.
We binged we haven't finished it, but we binged most of the X-Men movies.
Okay.
And then we binged the first two John Wicks because we're going to see the third one in a couple days, probably.
I thought you told me you were going sooner than that.
Well, we was going to be tonight.
And?
And if we did that, we would see John Wick 3 with Michael after he got off work at like 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night.
Right.
Or 11. And then we'd have to watch the fucking series finale of Game of Thrones right after that.
I mean, it's not like you have work tomorrow.
Right. But Steph is like would not be able to do that.
I thought you were doing it by yourself, honestly. With all respect to Steph, I thought you were doing it just you and Michael. But
I think she'd be pretty pumped to see John Wick 3. That's why we...
And we don't need to get into a whole thing, but I was talking to Deb about this yesterday or the day before. I'm just not into these John Wick movies like that. I'm not saying I don't like them and that I don't watch them and that I don't enjoy them, but like I'm not like people are like losing their minds over these movies, and I'm like, they're good, but I mean, like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you they're bad because they're not. I do enjoy them, but I'm not like losing my mind over these movies.
Let me put it this way. You don't watch John Wick for Keanu's acting.
Well, of course not. You watch it for the action sequences.
You watch it for the action, but also it's this weird new type of mythology without being mythical. That's true. It's expanding on a universe where it's fucking everyone who's a hitman or in the underworld has this protocol and they have these rules, and it's kind of intriguing.
But I feel like I've seen similar movies, and that's not to downplay the John Wick movies, but I mean, I feel like I've seen similar style movies, so like I don't feel like, again, they're just not, maybe it's just me, but I mean, they're not.
It is just you.
I guess so. But I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think they're terrible or I don't like them or anything like that, because that would be untrue. I'm just not like super, pumped to. To me, it's like the American, less flashy form of the Kingsman movies. You know, like the Kingsmen are like British spies, but they're not James Bond, but they have their own like codes and conduct. Right.
This is like the same thing, but like the seedier version of it.
I could see that. Look, again, I like them, and there's a bunch of tie-ins to the series we're going to talk about tonight when we get there, because there's a couple of things I want to go over before we could do that. But, so, moving on to some happier things. I mean, it's good that you talk about it. I'm glad you brought it up in terms of your stuff, your grandma and whatnot. And I'm sorry you went through it, buddy. I wish I could have been there for you, because that's just what friends do. But I was there with you in spirit. So, I was talking to Chris from Faces and Aces and the Dave podcast, and they're getting ready to get Dave going again, and he was listening to old episodes, and he sent me a clip from the show. It's about 2 minutes long that he said we would love, and I listened to it last night, and he's right, and so I'm gonna play it for you. And then we'll talk about it, but it's pretty fucking funny.
All right.
So it's going to be about 2 minutes of just me, or of just sound, so you won't hear anything. Hold on, I feel like I need to set this up a little better. So this is Dave it's the Dave podcast. It's an older episode, and it's Chris and OC talking to their friend Slimer. I don't know why he's called Slimer. We don't get that in the clip, but yeah.
But you know who I think he sounds like? Slimer. I feel like you sound like Randall from Clerks.
A little bit, yeah. I want to hear all the porn titles.
Yeah, let's pull that up. Read those off.
Yeah, we'll get the script. All right, let me see if I can find it.
I'm telling you, dude, you are his voice doppelganger. Like, if ever there needs to be any ADR done for the next Kevin Smith movie, seriously, you could do Jeff Anderson.
Well, dude, it's funny because some of my coworkers have said your work habits are similar to Randall's. Oh, I found it.
Okay, cool.
Starting at the top. All right. Yes, hello. This is RST video calling. Customer number 435029. I'd like to place an order. I need one of each of the following tapes. Whisper in the Wind, To Each His Own, Put It Where It Doesn't Belong, My Pipes Need Cleaning, All Tit Fucking Volume 8, I Need Your Cock, Ass Worshipping Rim Jobbers, My Cunt and 8 Shafts, Come Clean, Come Gargling Naked Sluts, Come Buns 3, Coming in a Sock, Come On Eileen, Huge Black Cocks with Pearly White Cum, Slam It Up My Too Loose Ass.
We couldn't hold it together for the whole thing. It's pretty fucking spot on, man. It's right.
Ass Blasters in Outer Space, Girls Who Crave Cock, Girls Who Crave Cunt, Pink Pussy Lips, and All Holes Filled with Hard Cock. Oh, and what was the name of that movie?
Happy Scrappy Hero Pup.
And a copy of Happy Scrappy the Hero Pup. Okay, thanks.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's spot on.
Some of them were pretty funny.
All right, we're building your dating profile, so a voice like Randall and a face like Hardwick. Come on, bitches, and suck on this hard dick.
So that's Chris and OC's friend Slimer. Dude, it's not perfect, but it's pretty fucking close.
That's so funny because remember, Chris was talking about like, oh, we should do another fucking movie, and if they do an animated film, he's like, it's like, oh, but and you and I are both like, oh no, Jeff Anderson will come back, he won't do it.
Yeah.
And then he literally said, I know a guy. That's the fucking guy.
Did he say that? I don't remember. I trust you, but I don't remember.
Dude,
that.
I know a guy.
Well, Chris, if you're listening, then you called us like a month ago or whatever it was that we talked about.
Oh my God, that's pretty spot on, dude.
It's close. The first time I listened to it was on this speaker on my phone, and on my phone speaker it sounded perfect. Now on my studio grade headphones that I'm listening to, a little off, but just the slightest. Like it's not. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. He did a perfect impression of Randall without having to do an impression.
Right. That's the impressive part. Yeah.
I mean, it's like someone who just naturally sounds like someone.
Randall.
It's really, really good.
Yeah. So I knew that would make you laugh. And I know you need that. So
that was funny, man. That hurt because I was really trying hard not to laugh.
Yeah.
Through the recording, and which just made me cough my fucking lungs out even more.
That's why you have a mute button on your mic, but I'm just saying.
I will not fucking stoop to that level of being muted. Thank you very much.
I wasn't going to mute you. I told you should mute it. I turned mine down.
I'm not going to mute myself.
All right, well, fine. I turned mine off. Anyway.
So, that being said, based on your original introduction... your fucking Army Hardy's fucking thing that you did.
Yeah.
And you know what? No one really requests any of our topics. Not really.
Never. No. Well,
but
we've
like,
had one or two. Sometimes,
like if we do a commentary.
Yeah.
But this particular one, it was just like us kind of, because we have other ideas that we want to talk about, but it requires other people to talk about them.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, some of them. But for our listeners, a lot of what CJ and I do is what haven't we talked about? Well, we've talked about Star Wars a fuck ton, and we will continue to talk about Star Wars a fuck ton more.
Rise of Skywalker.
Star Wars. Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. Okay, let's talk. We can talk about Marvel again. Fuck that. Let's fucking take a break.
We do need to do that Spider-Man trailer and the
theories and shit.
Well, we also said we said on the Endgame episode we would rank the 22 Marvel movies up to Endgame.
We will. We don't have to jam everything in every fucking episode. Plus, we have fucking Batman news that we haven't even talked about.
Oh, well, yeah. Real quick, though. Did I tell you my theory about Tony and Spider-Man?
No.
Okay, it's not my theory. I heard it, but I'm regurgitating it because I like it. So, you saw the trailer. I saw the trailer. We'll deep dive that another day. But there's one point where he puts on a pair of glasses, and it looks like Tony's glasses from everyone I've heard say Civil War, but I think it's Civil War and Endgame. I think they're the same pair of glasses.
It's the same. It's the glasses in Infinity War,
and also Civil War. He puts on the same pair in Civil War. I think. I really do. I think it's both.
Those very Tony Starkish fucking Ray-Ban kind of glasses.
But they also let him interact with Friday.
which is what I think he did in Infinity War.
Right. And he also did in not Endgame, but in Civil War. He does it in both.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The theory I heard was that because the trailer, as you know, shows Peter being pretty upset about Tony, and
as we all are,
and he's putting on the glasses, and the theory is, what if Tony left the glasses to Peter? But before that, knowing what was going to happen, reprogrammed them, and they actually are Tony talking to him instead of Friday.
As an AI?
Yes, as like a Jarvis.
See, Michael when he saw the trailer, he sent me a photo of what we're talking about, and he said, "Dude, what if he wills him like some awesome Stark tech? What if he leaves him a little message?" saying, hey, I have, I can't do a fucking RDJ right now.
Yeah, don't,
I'm not going to. I love you 3000. I was like, I left you an extra suit or something again. I think it's both. It very well could be that is how we get RDJ back without having Iron Man. We have him be although if I'm being honest, I do love the banter between him and Karen.
No, I do too, and I don't know if she's going to make an appearance because he seems to be wearing the Iron Spider suit for part of it. So I don't know if she's going to be in that. But anyway, even if it's not, it's just a cool theory to think about. What if that's Tony? Like you said, it's our way of getting Tony without them having to pay RDJ like a ridiculous amount of money, because to go in and do a little bit of ADR is not
he just calls it in. He just says, okay, Kevin, here you go.
Well, yeah, I think he'll do a little more than that, but I get the point you're making. Like, he's not going to have to put in the kind of time he's had to put in to play Tony. So,
well, before we branch out to our topic, I do have one other theory that I fucking read about that actually I want to lean towards. Now, again, spoilers for fucking Endgame. Fuck you guys. It's been out, okay? Everyone's fucking seen it, or you fucking haven't seen it.
Have you noticed the commercials, real quick?
For which?
So, like, there have been commercials for the movie since the week it came out, right? But they're very different now than they were. Like,
it's showing Fat Thor.
It's not just that, but it's showing the portals. It's showing some major plot points at this point.
Yeah. So at this point, fuck you guys. You had a chance.
Yeah, kind of.
So that being said, Black Widow fucking dies in Endgame.
Right.
But she's supposed to get her own separate movie now, her own whatever.
Black Widow movie.
And here's a theory that I heard. What if Captain America, when he goes back and puts all the stones back, which he has to, manages to figure out how to get Black Widow back from the Soul Realm? Bear with me. First off,
no, I'm with you. I follow.
That means Captain America sees Red Skull again.
Yeah, that's the thing that I know a lot of people online have been mad about, that we didn't get to see that like interaction between him and Red Skull again. Where
he's like, son of a bitch, Steve, you're still alive,
motherfucker.
No, he's always like, Thanos, son of. It's like he's like, Steve Rogers, son of a bitch, you're still alive.
Yeah.
So here's the theory: what if he's able to bring Black Widow back, and instead of marrying Peggy, he marries Black Widow? But he's still, hold on. Peggy is still his first love. And so we saw him have that final dance.
I was going to say that.
She's married to another dude. She marries someone else.
We don't know what year he went back to, though. We talked about that on Endgame.
So here's the theory: is he knows, because if the implication is that he eventually kisses his own niece, Sharon Carter, then, right?
In theory.
So if Sharon Carter is the niece from the original dude that she marries, that's not Steve Rogers, he could either unmake Sharon Carter, or he can, no,
it's
his niece.
niece.
I don't, because everything's time travel. Him affecting her relationship could affect her life. You know what I mean?
I think that's all far-fetched, but
look, so he just fucking makes out and dances with Peggy, And then he finds fucking
Natasha.
Black Widow, Natasha, there is some rumors of they might fucking have a relationship.
No, I always felt like she was more for Banner. So.
They kind of, they're that Banner for sure, but, and then what if because Falcon sees old ass Cap and he says, "You gonna tell me about her?" He's like, "No, I don't think I will." Meaning he's like, maybe he doesn't want to tell. He's like, I want to live my life with hot ass Scarlett Johansson.
I guess.
Well, because that could be a reveal of how they bring back Black Widow, unless they're just doing a straightforward prequel.
Which it could be. We don't know.
Which it could be. You know what has some awful fucking prequel scenes? Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get started. Yeah. Jinx. Do you
even know how to start? Like you're struggling before we fucking start.
Yeah. Well, because so you and I kind of discussed this. One of the things we did with this is something we don't normally do, and we discussed this pretty in-depthly before we got started. And I don't mean today. I mean over the last 10 days or so. We've had a couple different conversations about them. And I know where you stand on these. And you kind of know where I stand because we had a brief back and forth on it. But I have to say, having gone back now and watched all but one of the 5, that I don't agree with you at all.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Well, you gotta tease, man. You gotta set it up.
Lube it up. Play with the nipples a little bit before you dive in. Okay, so for me personally, I was very reluctant. I was never a big Johnny Depp fan when he became Johnny fucking Depp. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like when the first parts came out, I was 10.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. You were 20.
23. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because the first one came out in 2001.
Okay, the first time I saw it, then I was because we
you
got
didn't see
a
it in
fresh.
theaters?
No. First time I saw it was when I was working at Sam Goody, and we had a store copy that we run on the monitors while I was working.
Okay.
So
was it a VHS or was it a DVD?
DVD. I actually have that DVD. When we closed that particular location, we got to take stuff, and one of the things that I got was that copy of Pirates. So I actually have my copy of Pirates, The Curse of the Black Pearl, specifically, is the one from the Sam Goody store.
And look, we are in agreement that the first Pirates is the best one, right? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just had to think about it for a minute, but yeah. Which, by the way, speaking of special edition DVDs, you should give Chris some love real quick.
Well, I haven't got it yet.
He's gonna do it. Don't be.
Chris, specifically, thank you. You reached out and you, because of my mourning period, and it was just a surprise. You're like, hey, do you have Dogma special edition DVD? I said, I'm pretty sure I do. He's like, all right, do you have Clerks X? And I said, no, I don't. He said, all right, give me your address. So thank you for I'm considering it a birthday gift because it's my birthday in a month. So, but overall, I appreciate just you being nice.
I was right. Curse of the Black Pearl was 2003.
It was?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought it was 2001. Okay, fine. All right, look.
July 9th.
You're right about shit.
I can't fuck you. July 9th, 2003.
Okay, so all right. I was 12 then.
I was still 23, as I said.
Okay, all right. Damn, I don't like this.
What, you being wrong for once?
Yeah, yes. That's not good. I'm fucking up my record here, man.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Okay. But we are, whatever the fucking year came out, we're still in agreement that it's fucking good. It's the best. I would even argue there's the original trilogy and then there's the other two, right? Because 2 and 3 are more direct sequels to each other.
I would almost say 2 and 3 is like Infinity War and Endgame. It's really one big fucking movie. It really is, I think.
I would agree with that. I would really agree with that.
Real quick, completely off topic, just remind me when we're done Pirates, because I don't want to break that up right now. There is something else I want to talk about very quickly, but don't let me forget to do it before we stop.
All right, well, maybe you should write it down just in case you do forget.
No, believe me, it's in my face.
Is it a giant dick?
No, it's not a giant dick.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, I would say 2 and 3 are kind of like one giant movie, and I'd have to research, and I don't know if I'll find it tonight, but I almost wonder if they shot it all at the same time. Like they did with... Did. Yeah, okay. Because that was a trend for a while.
They released them
pretty close together.
No. They released them kind of spread out. I want to say Pirates 3 was 2007.
I'm on IMDb right now, so give me 1 second.
I think Pirates 2 might be 2004.
Nope.
And look,
6 and 7.
What?
6 and 7, respectively.
Jesus, I'm striking out here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Credit where credit's due. Sack of shit. Savvy.
Savvy.
But that being said, I was kind of reluctant of watching the first one when it first came out because it was just nonstop hearing of Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom. Like, I didn't even know anything about it. The trailer looked interesting, but I was like, fuck Johnny Depp. And then I saw it, and then I saw other Johnny Depp movies, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I instantly became a fan.
So, real quick, my issue with them when they came out was not that it was Johnny Depp, because that I didn't really have a problem with. My problem was they were making a movie based on a ride. That's what had me concerned.
That was also it. And to be fair, I didn't grow up with the interest of pirate movies because there weren't a lot of great pirate movies. Like, the pirate genre was dead.
Yeah.
Like, Gina Davis tried doing fucking one, and that just killed, like, Cutthroat Island or whatever the fuck it was called.
Speaking of pirate movies, real quick, you talked about how you were sick. I was a little under weather, too. Not nearly to the level that you were. I was only down for like a day. You were down for like a week. But while I was down, I watched a movie that I would love for us to talk about sometime. It's called Pirate Radio.
I've never seen it.
It's a fun movie, and it's one that if you wanted, I think we could if you wanted to watch it together, I could arrange it so we could do that. But anyway.
Great. Yeah, I love Philip Seymour Hoffman, so I'd like to watch it based on him.
It's British humor movies. It's not as slapsticky as, say, like a Hitchhikers or a Monty Python, but it's got that dry, We'll put it this way. Dry. And I can tie this together. The guy that plays Norrington in the Pirates movies is in that movie. And he plays a character named Twat. Yeah. TWAT.
Is he pretentious?
Yes, very. And that's kind of the point, I think.
He's a pretentious twat.
Yes. And then Kenneth Branagh plays his boss. So, just to tie it back to everything that we usually talk about.
It's funny you say that because, you have it in front of you. Who's the guy who plays Norrington? I'm blanking on his name.
1 second. Sorry, someone sent me a picture, and I thought they were listening to our podcast in their car, and it's not. But that's okay.
The guy who played Norrington was also in the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Which I have not seen.
Which also has Philip Seymour Hoffman, weirdly enough.
There's our 6 degrees of non-Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Let's see, Norrington, Jack Davenport is his name.
And I like him. He's a
I think he did fine.
He has a real arc in the 3 movies.
Not as much in the. Well, you're right.
Well,
okay.
He does. He goes from Commodore Norrington in the first one. Yep. But I gotta say, it is creepy how he is like
all over.
All over Elizabeth, and he knew he's a grown ass man in that early.
Well, I did the math. I tried to do the math on it, right? Because I tried to think of. Because I was thinking about that too. So now I'm speculating because I don't think there's anything out there that proves this, right?
Okay.
But I'm guessing she was about 14 in that opening scene.
Nope.
How do you know?
Someone did the math already. They're like, she's like 11.
Okay, but how do you
like
know that?
10.
Like, how is that proven?
I don't know. Someone fucking because Will is supposed to be 12.
How do we know that? Does that get said?
Someone established he's 12 years old in the opening part when they find him and like man overboard, that whole thing.
Okay, well then let's say she's the same age. Just for,
okay, fine.
Okay, 12.
So they're both 20 in the beginning of they're both 20 throughout the first film.
Wait, do we know that? Because they don't say it's 8 years.
It's 8 years later.
Does it say that? Because I didn't see that.
If you do the math, if you're looking at it from Jack gets fucking marooned on the island, they keep saying 12 years previously.
2 years previously, not 12. 2 years. Or
no, because
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
But he was only captain for 2 years of the Black Pearl.
Right, 2 years, and then
fucking
marooned.
Davy Jones gives him a whole thing saying, for 13 years you've been doing this. So it's we're doing the math incorrectly, but I'm guarantee that like it was 8 years from the first opening shot to when Elizabeth wakes up and she's got the necklace on her neck and shit.
All right, well then that gives you credence to your 11, because I want to say she was about 18, 19 at the grown-up stage. That's where I figured she was.
She'd be 20, and I don't have a problem with her.
No, I'm saying she was 18 at that grown-up stage. So
right, and Norrington is what, an admiral or something in that opening scene.
He's lieutenant. I remember that.
He's lieutenant.
So that's a step below captain, actually. So just to give you a
right.
Yeah.
It goes lieutenant, sergeant, captain.
Well, I don't know if they had sergeants in that Navy, so I think it went right from lieutenant to captain. Actually, I do. I think it was out to that.
Whatever the fuck he is clearly he's at least 18 in the opening shot of that.
I could maybe argue 16, but yeah, that's the youngest he would be.
The youngest would be at the most is 16. He's kind of, I mean, I don't know, man. It's looking at a little girl and then being.
You have to think about the time. Now we're looking at that through 2019 eyes.
I looked at that at 2003 fucking eyes too. It's that's
even
weird.
then, but we're talking it's 1840 something, or something around that.
Early, it's 17 something.
Is it that early?
Oh yeah. They don't.
Okay.
18. They would have had like more better. I mean, no, yeah, it's
better.
More better. More better everything.
A more perfect union.
Look, all creepiness aside, he did have an interesting arc.
You bring up a good point, because I was thinking the same thing. Like that part's a little off-putting. Like
it's off-putting, but you're right. But the timeline is probably, women. Ironically enough, who knew that women would have the same amount of fucking rights in Pirates of the Caribbean as they did now in Alabama?
Okay, so a little bit of information.
Not trying to make it political, but No.
A little bit of information, though. And this backs you up. It says early 1700s, but it does not narrow down a specific year.
I think they ranged it like the franchises over the course of like a 30-year thing.
That would make
1700s.
sense. If you're talking about all 5 of them, that would make sense.
Yeah. Because I think they actually gave a year specifically for the 5th one. Like it's set in like 1755 or something, or 85 and something. 5.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But look, we'll get to the 5th one when we get to the fucking 5th one, all right?
Why? And I have an interesting theory that might change your perspective a little bit.
I got it. I'm pretty stubborn about the 5th one, man. But I'll listen to it.
Yeah, I know you are. Sorry, I'm just going through the wiki here, trying to see if I can get some more details, but it's not saying.
Well, while you're doing that, I gotta say, Jack Sparrow is probably one of the most original characters that came out of fucking nowhere. That is actually like, oh, dude, that was like awesome. Like, we give a lot of praise for Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of really, I mean, RDJ is a great actor, but it is kind of RDJ just playing RDJ. You know what I mean?
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's still very entertaining and it's still awesome cinema. But like Johnny Depp made a character. Like he originally in the script, when they were talking about like early development, they were going to make it a fucking direct-to-DVD movie. They wanted like Christopher Walken as Jack Sparrow.
Well, that's not he wasn't the first choice, but yes, I'm seeing
No.
that on here. So you jumped in on something I was going to say. We'll get back to that in just 1 second because I want to read this to you first. It was an interesting thing. Hold on. So apparently, due to the box office failure of The Country Bears from 2002, Michael Eisner, who was the president of Disney at the time, attempted to shut down production of the movie, the original Curse of the Black Pearl.
Right.
However, Gore Verbinski told his concept artist to keep working on the picture, and when Eisner came to visit the set, he was stunned with what was created and kept it greenlit.
At the same time, he thought Johnny Depp was going to ruin the movie.
Okay, well, that's not in here, but I'm not arguing with that.
He said he didn't understand what Johnny was doing because, like going with what I was saying, is such a weird characterization. It's Keith Richards mixed with Pepe Le Pew.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing I like about Johnny Depp in general. Let's take it to a broader scope for just a second.
Yeah.
Is like, I can't think of many movies where I've seen Johnny Depp where he seems to be playing the same character he played in a previous movie, unless it's a continuation like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, he's very good at being somebody different in all the roles he plays. He's really good at that.
He is pigeonholed for being that kooky actor. You know what I mean? Like, especially with his shit in Tim Burton.
Yeah.
But he still does a different thing every single time, unless it's a sequel of something else.
Right.
I mean, you never saw Ed Wood?
No, but I heard it's really good. I just never seen it.
So Ed Wood was a real filmmaker.
Right. I know that. Yeah.
Well, I'm for our listeners.
Oh, sure.
And he did a lot of schlocky fucking real, like Z movie. Not B movie, like Z movie.
Plan 9 from Outer Space, man.
Plan 9 from Outer Space, like fucking string and like paper plates painted silver to look like, you know, UFOs and shit. Awful filmmaker. I have no idea what the real fucking Edward D. Wood Jr. sounded like, but Johnny Depp based like this weird portrayal of him as like the optimism of the Tin Man. He added like a little bit of Reagan because he had like this big grin. He kind of shook his head a little bit, and the voice of Casey Kasem. Like Johnny Depp takes all these random, like Keith Richards, Pepe Le Pew, boom, awesome pirate, weird, drunk, possibly gay pirate, and that's what Eisner was worried about. He's like, what the fuck is Johnny doing? Is he drunk? Is he gay? Are you drunk? Are you gay? Like, those were the actual things that Eisner was like asking Johnny Depp, and Johnny said, listen, you can let me do, you can trust me, you know my body of work, or you could fire me. And they said, all right, fuck it, let's see what happens. And literally, can you name there are a lot of amazing fucking entrances into film, but seeing Jack Sparrow on the top of that fucking mast,
sinking boat,
and it's but we first think it's him on a ship, and then the camera pans back and it's him on a fucking dinghy, and it's sinking, and then the fucking boat just perfectly gets up to the dock, and he puts out his foot and just takes one step,
right onto the dock.
Best entrance for that character ever.
I agree. Now let's back up for a second because I want to read some of this to you because I think you'll find some of this interesting, and this is all on the Curse of the Black Pearl Wikipedia page. So anyone who wants to confirm this or see it themselves, that's where you can see it.
Well, it is Wikipedia. Let's fucking, you know.
No, that's true, but I still want to give credit where I'm getting my information from.
Sure.
So apparently Disney was unsure whether to release the film in theaters or direct to video originally.
Like I said.
The studio, check this out. The studio was originally interested in Matthew McConaughey as Jack Sparrow because of his resemblance to Burt Lancaster, who inspired the script's interpretation of the character. So the character on page was based after Burt Lancaster.
Right.
If they had chose to go direct to video, Christopher Walken or Cary Elwes, is that how you say his name? I know.
I think it's Elvez, but
is it Elvez? Okay. Yeah. From Robin Hood Men in Tights, Princess Bride, and several other movies. Hot Shots.
Saw. Liar, Liar.
Oh, was he in Saw? Okay, I didn't know that. But
oh, yeah. He's in the first one. He's the guy who cuts his foot off.
Fair enough. But he would have been their first choice if it had gone direct to video. When they decided to go to theater, Jim Carrey was considered for Sparrow, which I think would have been, and I like Jim Carrey for the most part, but I think it would have been either too over the top or too serious, because he doesn't have that real in the middle. He doesn't. He's either way over the top or he's way serious. Because if you see something like, was it Apartment 23 or Number 23?
Number 23.
And then also Eternal Sunshine, he can do the serious role. But
Truman Show.
And Truman Show, yeah. He can do the serious role, but it's a little too serious. Do you know what I mean? So,
I think, actually, I'll think about it. Truman Show is sort of the middle, because he's dramatic, but he also has some funny
yeah, that's kind of like the crossover, but yeah, I agree. The reason he didn't get the job is because it conflicted with his filming of Bruce Almighty.
Ooh.
That's the only reason why he didn't get the role.
Yeah, honestly, though, I do not see... Because here's what I think it would have been like. It would have been like him doing the Riddler.
I think so. I agree. But just real quick to follow up, it said, so others considered for the role before Depp was cast was Michael Keaton, and then, as you mentioned, Christopher Walken.
Right. Michael... But they would none of them would have done what Johnny did.
No. Jack Sparrow needed to be a little off. And Keaton can play a little off, but not the way that Sparrow needs to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Keaton could do, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. Jim
Carrey could do outrageous, fucking all over the place, zany. It'd be the same thing of like, let's have Robin Williams do it.
Well, I think Johnny Depp is a good mixture of Jim Carrey and Michael Keaton. I actually feel like that's what you get a blend of those two with him in the way he portrays this role anyway. You know,
I could see that. I mean, his rationale of choosing Keith Richards as a fucking basis, as an inspiration. Do you know about that?
No, I didn't, but it makes sense, especially because of what happens in the third one and part of the fourth one.
Well, that was obviously planned after he based it on.
Right. No,
but it was his argument. I mean, he was already friends with Keith Richards, so he was obsessed with Keith Richards and looked at him as like a fucking god.
Well, because he's also plays music. Like Johnny Depp's in a band with Joe Perry from Aerosmith and Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Called I forget what the band's called. I'd have to look it up. But anyway.
Like the Last Vampires or something like that. It's something like the Vampires of Beverly Hills or some shit.
Something like that.
I mean, Johnny Depp he's played with Manson a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, he's not above doing really crazy, silly things, which is what I do admire about him. Because, like, think about Guy Lapointe. I think that's his name, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the gigantic penis-looking nose that he's wearing in those two movies. And you probably know this, but for our listeners, that blue vein that runs down the nose was Johnny's idea. That wasn't Kevin. That was Johnny's idea. He's like, dude, we got to put a blue vein on this thing because it looks like a giant penis.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the majority of Johnny's filmography is him taking risks and being weird. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, a la Mordecai. You know? Mordecai was awful. And it should have worked because it's Johnny Depp being goofy. It's got a good cast. The story wasn't great. But, like, and when he tries to do his serious movies recently, like, you would think a movie with him and Angelina Jolie and it's like a mystery caper movie called The Tourist. That in theory should have worked, but unfortunately it was not a great film. Steph is giving me some shit because she likes that movie.
I don't know that movie. Actually, I'm not.
You've never seen The Tourist? Steph loves it. I personally thought it was not great, but it's the best movie to look at beautiful scenes of Italy.
Okay.
But that's my. I mean, Johnny Depp was the actor's actor in the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, his fucking first movie was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep, and then he got the role on 21 Jump Street, the TV show.
And then he did Platoon.
Was he in Platoon? I didn't know that.
He was in Platoon. He plays Gator. He is the guy who is the translator in Vietnam.
Okay.
So you see Johnny Depp speaking Vietnamese.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, he made random fucking indie small fucking movies and Betty and June and whatnot. So he was always the weird guy. But his characterization for Jack Sparrow was Keith Richards and the pirates back in the day were just the rock stars of their century.
Sure.
So that's his generalization. And a lot of what Keith does is Keith, as he would tour, would sew shit into his hair. Like he would get artifacts and like coins and jewelry and shit and would like just stitch it into his hair.
Right.
That's why Jack Sparrow has all that shit, all the coins and the beads and the dreadlocks and shit. And the fucking eye mascara makeup shit.
Yeah. There's a great scene or an episode from How I Met Your Mother. Did you watch that show?
I've seen some. I've never got into it. I've tried.
Oh, it's one of my favorite shows. I swear to God, that one character is based on me. But anyway,
which one?
Ted Mosby, totally me.
Who's the actor?
Oh, Josh Radnor.
Oh, okay. So the one who's not Jason Segel and the one who's not fucking Doogie Howser.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah. Well, so they do an episode where they did a Halloween episode, and Marshall, Jason Segel's character, and Lily, played by Allison Hannigan from the American Pie series.
This one time at band camp?
Yeah. They do costumes every year. They do like group costumes, and they try to win this costume. The one they wear in the episode that airs, he dresses as a pirate, but it's fucking, it's him. It's
Jack Sparrow?
It's Jack Sparrow. Thank you. Oh my God.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow. And then she dresses up like a pirate, but they keep introducing him on the, like, when they're doing the judging, they say, and they do win, spoilers, they win the contest that year, and they introduce him as Lily as a parrot, and Marshall as a gay pirate, because he's got the black eyeliner that...
essentially, he's a butt pirate, is really what they're
No, they're not taking it that far. I don't feel like they took it that far. I think they were making making fun of the fact more than
making the fact he's wearing makeup, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Which, it was an interesting choice. Like, of all the things that Johnny did with that role, that was an interesting choice to have the eyeliner on.
The eyeliner, because I deep dove into this shit, it's a part of thing where it's similar to how football players will do that shit. So it was just a glare reflector.
Okay, and when you're looking out over the ocean, that makes sense. And you were just out on the bay yesterday, right? It was the bay
today.
You were on?
Today.
I'm sorry, today.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did the weather clear up, I assume?
The weather cleared the fuck up. It didn't rain the entire time, and I had to wear sunglasses.
Right, because even when it's sunny out, if you're on water, the reflection of the sun off the water is tenfold compared to being on land. So...
Yeah, I had to keep moving around. I was trying to talk to people, and I'm like, hey, can you get the fuck out of my way? The sun's in my eyes.
Yeah. So, I guess that makes sense, but it didn't come across that way. It came across more like he was just wearing this weird eyeliner. You know what I mean? Like it.
I understood it. I got it. I thought I got the impression. Originally I thought it was dirt. You know, because the implication is he never fucking bathes.
Basically, yeah. No one does, really.
I remember reading Gore Verbinski said that Jack Sparrow's breath is like the equivalent of a donkey's butthole.
I believe it, because there's a scene where he's talking to Elizabeth's father.
Yeah.
And he's like moving, trying to get away from him because he's like super close up on him.
Well, there's a part in the third one where he just breathes in Will's face, and he like is so taken aback from the breath that he is knocked off the boat. Or ship. Yeah, that's the funny thing is Jack knows how filthy he is. I mean, there's a scar on his neck.
Yeah.
Like this is all from like people fucking asked like Johnny Depp and the writers and the director all about this. That scar that is like a scab that's not healing on his like underneath his cheek. That's apparently fucking syphilis.
Okay.
Because he's a pirate.
Right. I get it.
All they do is get diseases and die and pillage.
I'm sorry. I'm paying attention to you, but I was looking. I'm on the wiki now. I'm on the wiki for not the Black Pearl, but the entire series.
Right.
Because it's got its separate wiki, and there's a prequel short film that's on the box set of the first 4 if you buy the US one, or or all 5 if you buy the UK one, which ironically I was looking at buying yesterday, and it's only like $25, so I'm actually thinking about doing it on Blu-ray. It's called The Tales of the Code Wedlocked, and it's a prequel to The Black Pearl, basically. It's a short film prequel to The Black Pearl.
Okay.
And so one of my favorite scenes from this series is when they get to Tortuga the first time, and the one woman comes up and slaps him, and he's looking
Giselle.
at it. Is that just Giselle? And actually, I think Scarlett's the first one that hits him, and he turns to Will and says, "I don't." He turns to Will and goes, "I don't think I deserve that." Or no, I'm not sure I deserve that. And then Giselle comes over and hits him and says, "Who's that?" And he goes, "Pretty sure I deserve that one." Which is one of the few scenes in the series that I absolutely love. But apparently it explains why that had happened. There's a backstory that's explained, and then it also apparently explains how Cotton lost his tongue. The guy whose parrot does all the talking for him.
Yeah.
So apparently it explains how he loses his tongue too. So I feel like I need to. I need
to see that too. Yeah.
I almost need to buy that thing just to see. Well, I'll see if I can find it online. Maybe we can take a pause and watch it because it's a short film.
You know who's also fucking in the first Pirates movie that everyone forgets?
There's a lot of famous people in this whole series. I think I know where you're going. Can I guess, or do you want to say?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Zoe Saldana? Yeah. Gamora
fucking
herself.
Gamora.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And I know there was some like beef, like she was never called back, or they did not like her or something, and they never wanted her to come back. But I guess Disney got over it because now she's Gamora, but then they killed her off and they brought her back. And blah, blah, blah.
Who knows? So we found it online, and we just watched it. Well, I don't think it was meant. It said a short film. I don't know what constitutes a short film, but it was 10 minutes. Yeah, 3 of which were credits. But
right.
It was interesting.
That was weird. It didn't really reveal. I mean, okay, yeah, we found out how Cotton lost his tongue.
Yeah. Well, it's implied. You don't actually see him lose his tongue, but
it also explains why his dinghy is sinking.
Yes.
In the beginning of the film.
Yep.
And I really didn't need a whole explanation why Scarlett and Giselle smacked the fuck out of him. But it makes perfect sense that he promised to marry them both on the same day, and
then sold them apparently to an auctioneer.
And I mean, it could be the 2019 goggles, but it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, it was a little creepy. I agree.
It was but unfortunately, look, in retrospect, they kind of got off probably pretty light, but if you really break it down, they probably just became prostitutes because of that.
Yeah, probably, if you want to get...
Like, basically, in a weird roundabout way, Captain Jack Sparrow is kind of a pimp.
The only thing it doesn't... The only inconsistency that I see is the redhead slaps him first, right? Not in the short, but in the actual movie. She comes over and she slaps him first. Then the blonde comes over, which, by the way, she was grossly undervalued in that auction sequence we just watched, but that's beside the point.
Agreed.
Because that's where my money would have gone. Anyway,
or your goats.
Oh, my goats. Yeah, ultimately they're sold for goats. But she slaps him and says, "Who's she?" So either they're playing it off, or is there like an inconsistency there?
No, she wants Jack to squirm. She's like, "Who's she? Let's see you fucking figure this out, because I know all about it."
Right.
Whatever bullshit you're going to try and lie about, I know you're lying. So, yeah. I mean, it was cute.
I mean, I'm still planning to buy that box set just because I want to get it on Blu-ray, so I'll still have it, but...
I would have liked to have seen... I mean, assumingly they filmed that around the same time they did the first one.
They did it in 2008, so right around the time they did World's End.
Oh, well then it would have been nice to see Keith Richards show up and be like, grab the book and be like, "Oh, I'm taking this back." Like,
well, they did. Actually, according to this, it says 2011, but the copyright on the credits at 8, so I don't know.
So it was a bonus feature to tie in with the fourth movie.
I get no, because the fourth movie is 2011. So I don't know. Yeah, okay. So here's what. You ready? I got it. You ready? They filmed it in 8. They filmed it in 2008, but didn't release it till they put out the 4-disc box set in 11 to coincide with the 11 movie. So there you go. There's your.
But Keith Richards was in the third one in 2007. So I'm saying, correct. and he was also in the fourth one. So he was on set.
They do reference him.
Yeah, they say Captain Teague. That means Jack Sparrow his name is Jack Teague.
Probably, yeah. And Sparrow's is the name he took on for himself.
Which, okay. I mean, it's okay. I don't mind the fact that, like, if we're diving, are we talking about the fifth one now? Is that what we're doing?
We can go all over the place. I have an interesting theory for the fifth one that I'm curious to get your thoughts on. But say what you want to say first, because I know you don't like it.
I'll say all the negative shit after you tell me your theory first.
Well, before I get into my theory, who's the other famous musician in the fifth one?
Paul McCartney, and that was not really good. Paul McCartney does not. If you're going by the whole generalization, Keith Richards would be a pirate because pirates were rock stars by Johnny's assessment.
Sure.
Paul is too nice to be a pirate.
Oh yeah.
If Ringo Starr, I'm sorry, no, if George Harrison or John Lennon were alive, they would be the obvious choices.
Well, yeah, and Harrison was my favorite Beatle, by the way.
But I would have preferred Mick Jagger over anybody.
Well, yeah, the reason Paul McCartney's in that movie is because Paul McCartney went to the filmmakers and asked to be in that movie. I know that for a fact. He wanted to be in the movie, so
yeah, he wants to show off to his grandchildren or whatever.
Whatever, yeah. Okay,
hey, look, I'm in Pirates too. Like,
so as I'm watching the fifth one, which I did over 2 days, and I only say that because I watched it once when I was sick the day I stayed home sick.
Right.
And of course, I fell asleep during the crucial part of the climax of the story. And not because it was bad, I was just really feeling that crappy and just fell asleep.
Yeah, you were dead to the world. Yeah. I'm with you.
So I went back and watched just the last 45 minutes of the movie yesterday, because that's about where I fell off. And this is the thought I have. this movie, the fifth one, Stranger Tides. Hold on, I get the right.
No, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Dead Men Tell No Tales. Yep, thank you. I'm gonna reach, but go with me here, right? It feels very much like Black Pearl to me. It has a similar path in terms of girl, guy meets girl, and then they tie it back with the older characters. But I'm talking about Henry and Karina, I think her name was.
Yeah, Karina, I want to say her name was, yeah.
Yeah. So that whole part is very much Elizabeth and Will in a way, right?
Yeah.
Jack being the tie that brings it all together, you know.
Yeah. Jack's Jack.
Jack's Jack. This is my equation. As much as The Force Awakens is a kind of redo of A Last Hope, I feel like this is a redo. A New Hope, I'm sorry. A redo of the Black Pearl. I feel like it's that same kind of equation of Force Awakens to New Hope as this to Black Pearl.
I see what you're saying, and the filmmakers actually intended that. They tried to. They said we want to make it as close as the first film as possible
with its own things. Like it has its own things, but it's
But I don't have a problem with that. It makes sense that one of the main protagonists would be a Turner. He'd be Henry Turner. I'm fine with that. I am fine with Karina. I actually dug her character more than Elizabeth Swann in the first film. Elizabeth Swann grew as a character, became fucking Pirate Lord.
Right.
You know, ironically enough, she became the Pirate King or Queen. Who goes from, sheltered fucking...
We have to talk about that Brethren Court at some point. Not this second.
We will. We will.
But I
want to get this fucking nightmare out of the fucking way. So I don't have a problem with the overall story. I have a problem with the filmmakers and the writers not rewatching the fucking movies and understanding the established mythology that they've already set in stone.
Okay, so you had mentioned that to me off air a week ago or something like that. And so when I was watching these movies, I had that thought in the back of my mind as I watched them. And I don't see the inconsistency that you do. I see a slight change, but enough that it still makes sense to me.
Do you want me to explain my problem is?
No, I do, but I just wanted to kind of lay that out there because...
So the compass. The compass has never been so integral to the world of Pirates of the Caribbean. It's integral for Jack Sparrow.
Right.
And it's good. And its only main function is it doesn't point north. It points to what your heart desires most. Right?
Right.
The fucking compass is given to him by Tia Dalma.
Calypso, right.
But in Pirates 5, fucking Last Jedi, fucking
Force Awakens, not Last Jedi.
No, it is the Last Jedi, my friend. It is the last pirate. It's going to probably be the last pirate, if we're being honest.
Well, according to this, 6 is still in pre-production. So
yeah, and allegedly they're going to reboot the whole fucking thing again. They're not going to have Johnny Depp. It's going to be a female pirate and blah, blah, fucking blah. So, in the flashback where it shows young fucking Jack Sparrow, I'm just going to call him Jake Sparrow at that point. He does this whole fucking thing where he sends Salazar, played by Javier Bardem, into the devil's fucking triangle or the whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And that is his captain dies, tells him that this ship is now yours, you're now captain, because I guess he was first mate. And he crashes fucking Salazar into this fucking thing. They die in a fucking ghostly way. Somehow that's connected to the what am I trying to fucking say? The fucking thing I was just talking about.
The compass?
The compass, yeah.
See, I didn't get that from that.
Yeah, they do this whole thing that if he gives the compass away, that will free Salazar. When he has given that little fucker away so many times in the movies. He gives it to Will. He gives it to Elizabeth.
Right, but here's the difference. I see what you're saying, and you mentioned that to me when we were talking, too, last week. Here's the difference, right? In that movie, he actually trades it for something else. That's the difference. When he gives it to Will, or he gives it to Gibbs at one point. I think he gives it somewhere else. Yeah. Those are, here, hold this. But he's not giving it away like he does in this. He trades it for, I think, rum, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, a bottle of rum.
A bottle of rum. That's different. He's using it as currency at that point. And that's, at least to me, that's how you can explain the difference. Because I get the point you're making. Like, I'm not shitting on your point. I'm just trying to help maybe you look at it from another perspective.
Okay, and I see your perspective. But also the implication is that if he, quote unquote, lends it to Will or lends it to Elizabeth.
Right.
If he dies, then it's still given to them. So he doesn't know that he's lending it away.
Well,
in his own thing, he's still giving it away.
Right, but here's the thing. No, because when he trades it for the bottle of rum, he's actively using it as currency, like I said. When he's giving it to them, if he dies, you're right, then it's theirs because he's dead. But he's not saying this is now yours. He's saying use this. It's mine. You use it because you need it to get... We need your whatever your heart desires to get where we're trying to go. So you use it. But when he's trading for the rum, he's like, okay, this is no longer mine.
Okay, but my question is, why is that a thing? What is the significance of this compass that has to do with specifically Salazar being trapped in the devil's butthole? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that I can't.
It is a big stretch. Why is this object that if they're retconning saying, oh, Tia Dalma didn't give it to him, Jack Sparrow's original captain gave it to him, well, then so fucking what? What's that got to do with this fucking mystical place? But I also have a big problem with how everything Jack Sparrow gets, his sword, his hat, his fucking scarves, his compass, including the ship, the medallion thing, his pieces of 8, and the ship that they're on, that's the Black Pearl before it's the Black Pearl.
Right.
That is whatever the fuck it was, the Sea Wench or some shit.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like the fact that Jack Sparrow at the age of 16 is getting everything, or whatever the fuck he is. He's a boy.
I would have put him at like 2021, but that's me. Anyway, go ahead.
Whatever he is getting everything that defines the character that in our own mind, watching the first 5 films leading up to this flashback, we had the implication that he had gone on all these fucking crazy adventures over the course of 15, 20 years, and little by little would put things, oh, I like this sword, it's now my sword. Oh, this hat, I stole this from a fucking person I killed, and I raped his fucking ex-wife, or some shit. Crazy fucking stories that now define a character. Not one thing that happened when he was 20 years old that he got every single thing that defined the character. Like, all of that was missing was someone saying, oh, you don't have any gold teeth. Pulling out their gold teeth and being like, here you go. Like, that was the one thing that was fucking missing.
Well, that and a pistol, which he gets when they maroon him on the island.
Okay, so that's my point. That's really my point. Is they took a character that was well established, that added an air of mystery, and then just watered him down and said, oh, everything you like about the appearance of this character, he got it all in a 10-minute sequence.
See, I don't have that doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. But okay,
but no matter how you break it down, it retcons its own thing. Tia Dalma gave him the fucking compass, and then this other guy gave it to him.
So, by the way, you mentioned that Javier Bardem plays Salazar in that movie.
Or as he pronounces it in proper Spanish, Salazar.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get... Yeah. We're in America, Jack. No, anyway, I'm kidding. But he plays that character. He also plays the main bad guy in Skyfall.
Yes.
And the woman who plays Tia Dalma is Moneypenny.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Naomi Harris, right?
Let me get her name because I scrolled down.
I think it's Naomi Harris.
Yes, you're correct.
I'll even give you one better.
And she's in Kingsman, by the way.
Really?
I think so, if I read that right. Hold on, let me look.
Maybe they're making another Kingsman. I don't remember her in Kingsman.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Our Kind of Traitor. But it's a lot of the same people, so it looked like it. Sorry.
Steph's telling me about another fucking plot hole that I completely blanked about.
Of course Steph finds a plot hole.
Yeah, I was with her on this plot hole from when I even saw it years ago. Dude, when I saw the fifth Pirates of the Caribbean, Michael and I walked out there and were like, this was god-awful. This was so bad.
I didn't get that from it when I watched it. I really didn't.
Look, I had problems with the fucking sequence of them robbing a bank. It just became Fast and the Furious, but on horseback.
Yeah, I have to give you that. I mean, I can come up with some explanations for it, but it's not great.
I'll give you that you have to, like, part of the charm of the Pirates movies is them in a cylinder cage of bones that they're rolling or them on a fucking giant wheel and sword fighting. Like, it is crazy stunts, and Jack Sparrow fucking always, like, spinning, magically surviving stunts that no one should ever fucking survive.
Right.
Running across the thing when he's attached to the pole, then fucking doing a front flip off the thing, and like,
yeah.
I accept all that shit. I do not accept that 4 fucking pirates on horses managed to move a fucking building.
I think it was 6, but yeah.
Whatever.
Here's at least the explanation I can give you for it. I don't think it's great, but here's at least in that time period they wouldn't have attached the buildings to the foundation. So they didn't really have to rip it off the foundation. It was literally just some walls sitting on the ground. You know what I mean? Even if there's concrete, it's not attached. It's literally just sitting there. So
right. Okay.
And then this vault the same way. The vaults now are like built into walls. The vault being just this steel box in the middle of the bank just sitting there is conceivable. And look, I'm with you. It's far-fetched, but at least it's conceivable.
But dude, I just had a problem with Johnny Depp in this movie. Like, I'm giving the guy credit because I know he was going through a ton of awful bullshit filming this movie.
Yeah.
With his ex-wife, he was reportedly late on set all the time. He had fucked up his hand. He was going through a lot of demons. But unfortunately, it shows in his performance. He didn't even get his voice right. This is not the same Jack Sparrow voice as in the first 4 films.
It's not completely off.
It's not completely off, but it sounds closer to him doing the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland than it does in Jack Sparrow.
I've only seen that once, so I'd have to see it again.
It's so off, man. If you watch the first one, even if you watch the 4th one, which you didn't, compared to the 5th one.
Well, no, I did.
You said you didn't watch the 4th one.
Yes, I did. I said I did.
You watched them all.
All but one. I didn't say which one.
Oh, okay. Which one did you not watch?
The 3rd one, because I feel like I know it well enough that I didn't need to, and I just ran out of time. I had to cut one of them to be able to watch them all in time. So.
And you still think the 5th one's better than the 4th one?
The
4th one seems more I mean, yeah, it's a Jack Sparrow movie.
The
it's
fourth
not
one,
as,
the fourth one, the problem with the fourth one, to me,
Okay.
right, was not any of the performances or inconsistency stuff that like you're talking about with the fifth one. The problem with the fourth one for me is it was really kind of slow in the middle. Like it didn't like, especially the first three have a high pace feel about them from start to finish. And maybe there's a little bit of a lull, but for the most part,
Sure.
it's pretty kinetic from beginning to end. And the fourth one, there's a kind of between the time that I would say that they get to the island where the chalices are,
right.
and the time they get the mermaid, which there's a pretty big gap between those two moments,
True.
is just like there's not a lot going on.
I'm with you, but I
But
thought it was
it's-
more.
Right.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
No, what are you going to say though? You were going to say something else.
I'm with you that it definitely dips a little bit, and I will say this: if you didn't have Ian McShane as Blackbeard, the movie would have been far less entertaining. Ian McShane is that type of actor where I could listen to him and watch him
Yeah.
read the phone
Yeah.
book. I mean, he commands a presence.
He does.
Who could you see play Blackbeard? You know, it's a meaty role, and
I
know.
would want somebody bigger in size and stature and volume. Not that he's not a good actor, the guy who played him. I agree with you in his
you mean
chops.
physically?
Yeah, I would like a John Goodman when he was still kind of a bigger guy, you know, before he lost all his weight, or someone like that. I don't know if Goodman would have been the right person, but like that kind of. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I see what you're saying, but I think the implication is the fact that even though he's of average height, he is terrifying. Like, he's got this whole weight of, oh my God, that's
Okay.
Blackbeard.
Right, so I need to back up for a second because you'll understand why I made my choice, and I'm not criticizing your comment as much as explaining kind of why my mentality is there.
Uh-huh.
So my first exposure to Blackbeard as a character is not Pirates of the Caribbean. It's Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And in that game, he's a big, overbearing kind of character.
But he also uses shit. And you got to give the filmmakers for Blackbeard credit for this. They had the same thing where he had, like,
Yes, the beard.
smoke in his beard.
And it twisted like the individual braids with like 5 across or whatever it was.
And he would have them like incense burning in his beard to give off the impression that he was smoldering, like he was the devil.
Yeah, no, they definitely did the character right. So my issue is not with the character at all. But if I was to cast it, I would have gone with somebody different, someone with
more physically imposing. I'm with you. I mean,
and with a bigger personality, like John Goodman, when he turns it on, is a really like
terrifying,
not only
absolutely terrifying.
Not only terrifying, but like just loud. You know who modern day could play it if they were going to redo this movie, which I know you would never want because you don't like it, but if they were to redo it, you know who could play that role right off the top of my head? Momoa. Jason Momoa as Blackbeard would be perfect. Now, it would be a little off because of Aquaman, but let's just assume that didn't happen. No, because it would look weird. But do you know what I'm saying? Like if
I think it would look a little off because the implication is Blackbeard is older.
well,
Momoa looks 30.
in this story,
35.
yes, I have to agree with you. But I'm saying, like, okay, let me say it again. If they were to make another one with a younger Blackbeard, like a prequel to this movie, Jason Momoa should play the role.
I would see if Momoa can pull off a British accent, I'd be into it.
Right, he'd have to have a bit of that British twinge. I agree.
I would be totally into it. I think that'd be a great idea. But I will say this: Ian McShane helps the dip because Ian McShane is not raving like a lunatic. He's not physically and screaming and posing. He's not intense. He's reserved. because he has enough power where he can fucking, like, he doesn't bark at people to get out of his way. He walks up to them and they automatically move.
Yeah.
That's
I agree.
what Ian McShane does. Because he just says, "Oh, really? You're not going to get out of my way?" And he just touches his sword. The fucking rope fucking yanks the dude down the way in the first place. That's the commanding of that presence. There's a difference between, like, Barbossa, who is intimidating, especially in the first movie. In the first movie, he is very intimidating.
Yes.
But he's always, get out of the way, you lad lovers. Ha 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 ha. Like, he's really camming it up. But
not
fucking,
changing subject real quick, but have you ever played the game BioShock?
I've played the first couple levels or I started it.
Okay.
It wasn't not levels, but yeah, I got into it, like, maybe played me like in the first hour of it.
I only asked because the reason Gore Verbinski didn't direct that movie, the fourth one, is he was working on a BioShock movie that ultimately never came to be.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I would like to have seen that movie.
I'd still like to see a fucking Halo movie.
Yeah, I don't care so much about that. But anyway, by the way, speaking about video game movies, did you hear what the Aquaman guy's doing?
Juan?
I think it's Juan. Is he the one doing it? He's doing the Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Very excited.
I heard. I'll give you one even weirder.
Yeah.
Speaking of James Wan, Chris Rock is rebooting, or he's making another Saw movie.
I saw that. Yeah, it was a.
When the actual fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's get back.
Let me tell you, Bat. Like, oh God, I want to see that weirdness, but I don't want to see that weirdness.
Well, let's get back to
the
captains. So
yeah, speaking of weirdness, but look, fucking Barbossa and fucking Blackbeard, to me, don't even compare to how well crafted Davy Jones is.
Oh yeah, Bill Nighy kills that role. He really
kills it.
Yeah, he really does.
He's scary. And he's kind of like, he would be the Darth Vader of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, right?
No question.
Agreed?
No question. Yep.
Tragic character, becomes evil through love. You know, he instead of more machine than man, he's more squid than man.
More animal than man, basically.
More sea-based than man.
Yeah.
His crew look fucking fucked up. There's a hammerhead shark dude. There's a fucking eel dude. I mean, one of Davy Jones's most fucking badass moments is when he takes that, I think his name is Mr. Mercer, and he grabs him by the face with his tentacle beard and slithers his tentacles in the dude's throat.
Yeah.
Through his nose, strangles him and breaks his neck.
Yep.
He did it with his facial hair.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, real quick, did you... And this isn't trying to like a gotcha moment, but did you know that there were post-credit scenes for 4 and 5?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's post-credit scenes for all of them.
I'll have to go back and watch the first 3 then, because I don't think I caught
Do you want me to tell you?
Well, in a minute, but yes, I do. But I had a point for bringing it up, and it wasn't just.
Are you bringing up the post-credit scene for 5?
I am, because
that's
it really
Stephanie's plot hole.
Okay, what's Stephanie's plot hole? Because of course Stephanie has a plot hole.
No, I happen to agree with the plot hole.
What is it?
Okay. For those who don't fucking remember or don't know, the bonus credits scene for 5 is, well, the ending of the movie is they break Poseidon's trident, because that's a thing, and that is supposed to lift all sea curses, right? All of them.
Correct.
And somehow that frees Will. First off, let's talk about that. Will is now the captain of the Flying Dutchman. He is essentially Davy Jones without being Davy Jones.
Right.
He is allowed 1 day every 10 years on land.
Correct.
Okay. I'm glad you're confirming this. I just want to establish everything.
Yep.
He, at the end of 3, he fucks Keira Knightley. They have Henry.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Really?
Knightley, yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Hello, Poppet. So then, 10 years...
I threw you off there.
You did, yeah. The bonus credit scene for 3, which you may not remember, is it's Elizabeth and young Henry, about age 10 years old. He's singing Yo Ho, Yo Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me. They're walking to the shore, and the implication is this is the first time he's going to see his father. They're looking on the horizon, big green flash, and then the ship is there, and this is him getting his one day at sea. Now, here's where it gets all fucked up.
One day at land.
1 day at land. 1 day at land, 10 at sea. This is when it gets fucked up. He could stay. He didn't stay, though. All he had to do was do 10 years of service. Then he could come back on land.
No.
Yes.
No. Every 10 years he gets 1 day. It's not 10 years of service. Yes.
He could have ended it right there.
No.
Yes.
No,
yes.
he had...
Yes.
The Dutchman needs a captain, so he would... Someone else would have had to cut out their heart and put it in the box. He is indentured to that place, and then the implication is that if he does that, he actually dies. He doesn't... It's not over. He's done.
Right, which
so he
means that
end it.
Okay, so look, for the sake of argument, fine. He's only allowed 1 day of land.
Every 10 years.
Every 10 years.
Yeah.
So then he goes back. And then 5 starts with Henry trying to drown himself so he can be greeted by the Dutchman.
Right.
That's how that happened. The Dutchman sensed a drowning soul and went to rescue this person.
Right.
He is now... Will is starting to look a little barnacle-y.
A little bit.
Which means he's failed at being the Chiron of the seas. His job is to ferry the lost souls.
Right. He might have missed someone, but yeah.
He might have missed some. Well, that's why Davy Jones looks like Davy Jones. He just said, fuck it, I'm not going to do that shit anymore.
Right. Whereas Will probably tried and maybe missed a handful, and that's why he looks a little barnacle-y. You know.
Maybe. That's the implication. So and then I didn't understand why he was telling, they know you're here. Please leave. Like, you're captain of the fucking flight. You could tell your crew to fuck off. It's your son. Why are you being a pussy to your fucking crew? Why wasn't your father there to see his grandson? I thought that was jarring that Bootstrap Bill wasn't there. Which, by the way, all their talk about how fucking Will Turner looks the spitting image of his father, I don't see that shit. Nothing against Stellan Skarsgård, but he does not look like Orlando fucking Bloom.
No, but he's a good actor, so whatever.
He's a great actor. He just doesn't look like him.
Well, maybe he looks more like his mother. I don't know.
Well, they all know. They keep saying he's a spitting image of Bootstrap Bill.
Oh,
no,
that's
he's not.
True. Yeah, you're right. They do say that.
So then that's the whole plot, and then fucking 8 years later, boom. That's what Pirates 5 is, right? So I'll give you a couple things. They break the fucking trident. The curse is lifted. Right. Will can go back on land, which means technically he should have just dropped fucking dead right there. Soon as the curse lifted, he should have just dropped dead.
I have a theory for that, but go ahead, finish your point, and I'll get to it.
Second of all, as you very astutely put, the Dutchman needs a captain. So now there is no captain doing the Dutchman. Everyone who drowns at sea, their soul is fucked. They're now unable to go pass on. They're just dead, and their souls are drowning. And anybody who is even like, oh, I'm going to drown, maybe the Dutchman will save me. Nope, sorry, fuck you. So does that mean the crew no longer is a crew anymore? Like, they really didn't go over that shit.
I think it's implied. So here's what I think, right? First off, I'm on a thing called Fandom, if you've ever seen that website. It's similar to a wiki, but it's... Okay, so I'm on the fandom for The Flying Dutchman. Not the movie, The Dutchman.
Yeah.
And it says here... Because Will Turner became the new captain, he would now serve aboard the Flying Dutchman for all eternity, bound to ferry the soul. So it's not 10 years.
Okay.
Just to
all right.
clarify that part.
Sure.
To your thing, we both agree that throughout this entire series, all 5 movies, there's a level of mysticism and magic and things that aren't real, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
So, to me, the implication is when that curse is broken by the trident being destroyed,
Right.
it doesn't just release him from the boat. That's true, but I think it also, by some power of magic that we wouldn't be able to explain, puts his heart back in his chest. So that's why he doesn't drop dead right then and there. To your question.
I'll give you that. One final thing, and then I'm going to ask Steph what she I know she wants to tell me what's going on, but hold on.
Yeah.
The bonus credit scene of 5 is Will in bed with fucking Keira Knightley, as I'm sure you would love.
Mm.
He's having a fucking nightmare. He's
just to put it in Mark's parlance, Keira Knightley can get it. Go ahead.
Keira Knightley doesn't have any boobs.
She can get it. Go ahead.
So the door opens. You hear a thump, kind of a familiar step thump. Someone with a fucked up peg leg. We see the shadow, and it's very clearly old tentacled fucking Davy Jones. We see the tentacles move in the shadow on the floor. And then this is where they get fucked up. The claw, the claw that he has is on his left hand in the first 3 films, but the right claw hand raises, which is incorrect. The angle of it is a right hand. He doesn't have a right hand claw.
Right.
And then Will Turner wakes up. There's no one there. Now, I could get into it maybe because maybe it was his subconscious or was a nightmare that maybe he is afraid of becoming Davy Jones, and he was, this curse is still kind of a part of him. I could get into that. But when the camera pans down, there's a fucking puddle of water and some fucking barnacles and shit, which the implication is Davy Jones was actually standing there. And if he's standing there, he should not look like that because the curse is fucking lifted. And if the curse is fucking lifted, technically the motherfucker should be dead because they stabbed the fucking heart and the fucking thing is bullshit. This is fucking stupid. They didn't fucking read or look at their own fucking movies. They just said, oh, you know what? We like the compass. Oh, you know what? We like Davy Jones. Let's shove this shit in a fucking reboot of fucking Pirates of the Caribbean Fast 7. And fucking, let's make Jack Sparrow even less of a fucking compelling character and have him fucking be stupid. Oh, you know what? Let's make Barbossa even more fucking outrageous. Oh, let's establish that science was actually a thing. And just because she is a woman, let's just shit on her and call her a fucking witch. And let's make a really compelling actor gargle through fucking bad black blood as a ghost captain and have him be fucking freed with a compass. Fuck this movie. Fuck you, CJ. Stephanie, what you want to say? Okay. I'm gonna try and reiterate what she says to me because her throat's all fucked up. So she says, first off, the Flying Dutchman is not a curse. It's a job. To be the ferryman. It's not a curse. Only Henry looks at it as a curse. Now, Will Turner might feel cursed, but that's too fucking bad. He gets to live.
According to this, it's a curse.
According to this website that CJ's looking up, it is a curse.
So if we're going to establish it as a curse, then the curse is lifted and the trident is broken. Therefore, there is no point.
Which she's agreeing with what I'm saying with the curse. If the trident is broken, then the curse is lifted. There is no Flying Dutchman.
What? No, I think the ship still exists. I think.
What?
Will Turner died to become the captain. He has no heart. He should be dead. He should be evaporated and gone.
Their whole CJ said this. You didn't hear, but because we have to expect some form of magic in this. That if the curse is lifted, maybe the heart is regrown in his chest or something.
No, he died before he became the captain.
No, he did not.
He died first.
He wasn't dead. He was wounded.
No,
Yes.
He was wounded. He wasn't.
Davy Jones stabbed him. He died.
He stabbed him in the heart, but he wasn't dead. He
They
didn't
cut
die.
out his heart and put it in the box in time.
I guarantee if he was alive, that would have been a painful ass thing to have your dad cut open your fucking chest and pull out your heart for you.
He died.
Okay, all right, fine. Her argument is that he did die.
Well,
So
she's
no matter
wrong.
what, he should have still died
She's
because
wrong.
he was dead before the thing happened. But that's what I'm saying is, I can accept so much illogical shit because hey, it's pirates and magic and curses and shit. This is what I'm like, no. Fuck your bullshit. Davy Jones should, as much as I love Bill Nighy as Davy Jones, it makes 100% zero sense for him to come back.
Okay, can I just throw a thing at you real quick?
Is it logic?
A little bit.
Okay.
How, does it make any sense that the Emperor should be back in The Rise of Skywalker? In actuality, based on what we've seen already, should the Emperor be making an appearance in Rise of Skywalker? Other than a Force ghost, like an actual... No, I just had to calm down.
Well, no, I can't calm down. These are fighting fucking words, motherfucker. Look, we don't know how the Emperor's coming back. We know it's the Emperor. We don't know if he's a Force ghost. We don't know if he's somehow possessed Snoke from the very beginning. We don't know.
Right.
So that's the argument is we don't know yet. If they're going to give me some bullshit thing where fucking Ian McDiarmid comes back, black cloak, white skin, I'm going to say, that's some bullshit. That motherfucker was dead.
All right. As long as you can admit that that's equal bullshit.
If J.J. Abrams does that, then J.J. is now Jar Jar Abrams.
Well, then I think you're going to call him Jar Jar because I'm pretty certain that's what he's doing.
He's not going to just fucking push him back. He's going to probably do a Force Ghost thing. The other thing is, and I know you're going to fucking give me shit for this, it could be a clone. It could fucking be a clone.
Could be. No, could be. I can't.
I'm pretty sure they've never made clones of Pirates of the Caribbean. Now,
yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
If this is Davy Jones's fucking like twin brother, then fine. Tell me all about Mikey Jones, okay? Tell me all about fucking. But establish that. Don't shove a thing for us to be like, oh my god, what is that? And have it be like, no, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so what about this? What if that sequence? What if that?
Tell me.
What? No, you were talking to Stephanie.
She said it doesn't matter no matter what because all curses are lifted.
Okay.
That's the ultimate argument breaker ender right there because all curses are lifted. There should not be anything cursed that could also disappear because Will wakes up pretty fucking quickly and all of a sudden he's a ghost, but there can't be a ghost because ghosts are cursed. No matter how you fucking play it, it makes no sense.
No, what if the barnacles in the water weren't Davy Jones? So the image we saw prior to the floor shot,
it was a dream.
Was a dream. The water and the barnacles are barnacles
just because
exist,
it's wet.
right? Or you said yourself he had a couple barnacles on the side of his face,
but he didn't have that when he came back.
No, you're right, but I'm just saying, like, I think the implication is more of, like, there's something going on in Will's head as opposed to him actually being there.
And that's what I said. If that's the thing, if it's his inner demon, coming at him, being like, you are still clinging to the Dutchman. Your curse is lifted, but it will always haunt you. All the shit you've done, 20 years or 15 years or whatever the fuck at sea, you came super close to becoming your enemy. I'm fine with that. It makes perfect sense. But having the barnacles fucks it. Not to mention, if you look it up on Wikipedia, if you look it all up, it more or less confirms that it wasn't a dream. They say very explicitly, Davy Jones is back.
Well,
Why?
To be fair, Bill Nighy wanted to be in the fourth one. And they said no. He wanted
because it doesn't make sense.
And the fourth one it does. Triton's not broken yet.
But he's still dead.
He's also a mystical character at that point. He's no longer...
The only way it would make sense is if fucking Calypso shits him back from the sea.
Basically.
But we don't know shit about Calypso because they gave up on her. Because unless Calypso became a man in a previous life, and then that's how she gave her fucking compass to Jack Sparrow. I mean, dude, like I said, I like first four, and then there's this one. This one, it is The Last Jedi, man. It retcons a lot of shit. It changes a lot of characters. And look, for our listeners, I honestly could give less of a fuck. If you guys love this movie, all the power to you. CJ, if you like the fifth one, like the fucking fifth one. But you got to understand, like Michael and I, when we saw the fifth one, we went through a marathon and we were like, we're going to watch all fucking 4 movies the day of. We're going to see the fucking fifth one at night. Like, we were pumped up. We were fucking being stupid. We were drinking rum. We were doing shanties and shit. We were walking around like fucking Jack Sparrow, all drunk and shit. Why is the rum always going? Like that fucking bullshit. We were playing Rolling Stones because we're like, hey, it's Keith Richards. We walked out of that movie theater so fucking crestfallen. Just like, that was just, I mean, it was beautifully shot. The CGI was great. But there was also a lot of parts where it was just hard to see shit. All the movies have a lot of fucking parts where it's at night. But I remember seeing more vividly Jack and Davy Jones sword fighting in a fucking maelstrom. Is that how you pronounce it? Maelstrom?
Yeah. Clearly,
than half of what the fuck was going on in the last 20 minutes of Pirates 5. It was just a bad movie, dude. Any rebuttals?
No.
Now you know why I want to do this, so that we can do this and never talk about this again.
Until the sixth one comes out.
Until the sixth one. Steph, what's your question? That's another. I mean, that's not okay. Her question.
Wanted his heart away, so he didn't have to.
You know, if she wants to keep talking, put a fucking microphone on.
Her question is, why did Will Turner give his heart to Elizabeth? And it's a legit question.
Why
Davy
wouldn't he?
Jones? Why? Well, Davy Jones hid his heart because he wanted to be far away from the emotional aspect as much as possible, right?
Right.
And also he buried it because he didn't want anyone taking over.
Or using it against him is what it says here.
What?
It said that he didn't want people using it against him.
He didn't want people using it against him, which by logic shouldn't have been better if it was just on his ship all the time.
Sure.
So, which brings her point is, why didn't Will do the same thing? Why did he I mean, anything could have fucking happened. Like, what if Elizabeth got robbed and they just took the chest?
Okay.
And they said, what the fuck's this beating heart? Let's throw this in the fucking, like, let's stab this thing.
Okay, so my problem is that if William Turner didn't want to become Davy Jones, he wanted to be a good ferryman because he willingly took on the alleged curse of ferrying people when they die. Then why did he give his heart away? Because if he wanted to be a compassionate ferryman, he would have wanted to keep it close.
That's easy. He giving his heart to, it's symbolic. It's not protection. He's giving it to the woman that he loves because he loves her. I can't be with you, so here's my heart. It's plain and simple.
That's illogical.
No, it's not illogical. It's not illogical at all.
Yes, it is.
It's romantic.
It's very illogical, especially since they're established pirates. So if she has his heart, then Davy Jones's problem becomes William's problem. It makes no sense. That was my only question.
It makes more sense than the shit I'm complaining about.
I'm giving it back to Rico.
What was your argument? Symbolic?
Right. He loves her and he wants him to have her, or wants, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm ready to put my headphones down.
I agree. I tend to agree with that.
There's no harm in what yeah, there's two different motivations altogether. And it's got to be in the chest anyway, so why not leave it with the person you trust the most? Who's he going to give it to, Jack? I mean, come on.
I think he would have probably been best if Bootstrap Bill said, "Okay, I'm free," and then said, "Okay, I trust you with my heart." I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't bother me. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with 5. Just 5. Dead men tell no tales. Well, this movie should have been fucking dead and not told this tale.
All right.
I did like the daughter. I did like Barbossa's daughter. I thought she was intriguing. I thought if you're gonna do that Force Awakens analogy and she's the new Elizabeth Swann, I thought she was more interesting based on first performances. I don't fucking know who the actress is.
She was more interesting than that bloody mermaid in the fourth one. That was just.
I agree with that. The mermaid. Look, man, it's pirates. They gotta throw some fucking mermaids.
I don't have a problem with there being mermaids. I don't have there being a problem with the sequence where they go to I think it's called Whitecap Bay or whatever, where the mermaids were. Like, that I actually thought was pretty badass, but then having to capture and carry the thing around, just get the tears there and leave. You know what I mean? Like, you could have got the tear, left her there, and gone off and done the rest of the movie the exact same way, and it would have worked.
Because they need a fucking love story. But I will say that fucking Priestley dude, that missionary fucking kid, useless. Such an awful fucking character.
So was the mermaid. They were both useless.
They were both. That whole romance was stupid. I will give you that. 100%.
Listen, you want to talk about illogical? He's a priest.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be a romance to begin with. He's a priest.
I don't know. He's not a priest. He's a fucking Bible.
He's a clergyman. No, he's a clergyman. They called him a clergyman.
Okay. Well, mermaids will fucking make you fucking. I mean, look. Say I was religious. Let's just start with that far-fetched idea, okay?
Yes.
And I had to abstain from sex. I would 100% say fuck that noise if I could fuck a mermaid.
Well, sure, but he talks about how he's so into his faith up until that moment, all the way up. Yeah, no, like he
worships her.
Not even to the point where he meets her. I'm talking all the way up to the point where she pulls him under the water.
Which, when I first saw that movie, I thought was incredibly confusing. I was like, because they did say one thing in passing, that a mermaid's kiss can help save a man from drowning. He wasn't drowning. He got stabbed in the stomach. Then she pulls him under. So all she did was say, okay, I'm going to kiss you so I could drag you under the sea where you'll not have to worry about breathing because I kissed you and you can breathe underwater for some reason. But then,
where you become Aquaman.
Yeah, then Aquaman starts. Yeah, that's how Aquaman starts. But you see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, great. Thanks for kissing me. Thanks for getting me across the ocean. I still have a fucking wound, lady. By the way, it's been bleeding the entire time. There's sharks following us.
I guess the implication is those specific waters heal them. I don't know. It was just not needed. It wasn't needed. Like, everyone got upset about Penelope Cruz, and that wasn't the problem with that movie.
I liked her. I liked Penelope Cruz. By the way, she's the wife of Salazar.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. So Salazar's Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz are a couple.
She was a nun. Oh, you mean in real life?
In real life.
Oh, I thought you meant in the movie. That's where I got confused.
No, they were real life couple.
Okay, that I can get behind. I thought you meant the two characters. I'm like, no.
The two most famous Spanish actors are a couple.
Yeah. All right.
So, I mean, look, I don't want our fans to fucking think that like I'm just an angry fucking.
Well, you are.
Shit. I am, but I also love the movies. That's why I'm allowed to fucking bitch and moan. It's because I gave a fuck. It's how I reacted so fucking vehemently against like Last Jedi, and how I'd argue some people reacted to Force Awakens because
we got to back up to a couple things because I want to touch on like two of my favorite themes throughout the the series. One you've already touched on, but the rum. The constant reference to why is the rum always gone. Like, I just think that's fun. And then the other one is...
Hide the rum, yeah.
Right. And then the other one is not as frequent, but it happens a couple times where... And it's a throwback to the first movie where he goes, "Did you remember the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow?" And then I think it's the second one when they're escaping the indigenous people. And he goes to say it, and the wave like smacks him in the back of the head, and he's just like, ugh, and just never mind, and gets up on the ship. Like, he doesn't get through the whole sentence and never finishes it.
Yes, it's so cut off. It's well done. He's just like, I asked my friends, today is the day that you almost caught, and then splash.
And he just has a look on his face like, fuck, and just climbs up into the boat. Like, it's little stuff like that. Or like when he meets Norrington for the very first time, and he goes, "You are undoubtedly the worst pirate I've ever met, or I've ever heard of." And he goes, "But you have heard of me." And then later, when he steals the interceptor, like 30 minutes later or whatever it is, and he goes, and his Norrington's like right-hand man goes, that undoubtedly is one of the best pirate I've ever seen. And he goes, "It appears so." Like, with that look of like, fuck you, you know what I mean? Like, those moments I thought were fun. And that's what makes these things fun. And then the ultimate thing for me is the Brethren Court. That Brethren Court scene, that whole sequence is just ridiculous.
I love it when they're beating the shit out of each other, and he's like, "This is madness. This is politics."
Yeah. Yeah, it's little quips like that. And then, like, who is it? Sishumbambi, or Sishu, what was his name?
Yeah, that's right.
Sishumbambi had someone else talking for him the whole time, right? And then, and I'm gonna try this, but it's gonna be really bad. And they finally vote to go to war because Elizabeth becomes the pirate king, and she goes, "We're going to war." And he stands up and he goes, "So we will go to war." And it's just so fucking funny. Like, yeah, they're good, right? Yeah.
That was pretty good, dude. That was really good.
That's pretty good.
And I love the look of Jack where he just like tilts his head like, what?
I mean, that's what's so good about Johnny Depp in these roles. Like, he gets the character to the point that, like, he bought that costume. Disney doesn't own that costume. He owns it and breaks it out constantly, going to, like, hospitals and
schools.
And so he just loves that role. But, like, there's all kinds of stuff, like the dog reappearing constantly with the keys.
Right.
You know, like, you never know how I got off the goddamn island with the indigenous people, but it survived.
Sea turtles, mate. Sea turtles.
Yeah, right. Sea turtles. And then he shows up with the key so that his dad, Captain T, can unlock the code. You know, and then they're talking about the code, and they're saying they won't listen to Elizabeth. And he goes, "So you won't be staying with the code?" And the guitar string breaks.
Yeah.
You know, but you've got Keith Richards, who I'm not a big Rolling Stones fan, to be fair, but you've got Keith Richards, one of the most famous guitar players of all time. Maybe not one of the best, but certainly one of the most famous.
Oh, for sure.
Sitting there playing a guitar and pops a string when they say
and he looks bored. Like, his only job is, I give a fuck about the code.
Right.
And, like, they're just arguing and squabbling, and he just says, "All right, fuck you guys," and just starts strumming a guitar.
Yeah.
Someone says, "Fuck the code," and he's like, "What'd you say, motherfucker?"
Right. Yeah. And then at the end of that whole sequence where he's talking to him, and that's when you finally find out it's his father, because up to that point, it's not said that it's his dad. You don't find out until the end of that sequence.
Right.
And he goes, "So how's mom?" And he pulls up the shrunken head.
Yeah.
And Jack just has that, like, Johnny Depp got that look like, eh. And
he says, "She looks great."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, that, it's those moments that he does throughout the whole series that are just, I think, what makes it what it is.
You know, Johnny is expressive in his eyes, especially. He does the twitchy eye kind of. I mean, did you ever see Betty and June?
Once. I did. It's been a long time, but I did, yeah.
pound for pound, maybe 20 years ago, if they made a movie of Buster Keaton, Johnny Depp would be the top choice. If you didn't have Robert Downey Jr. playing Charlie Chaplin, go Johnny Depp. It would have been spot on. He is a silent film actor who happens to talk.
Right. I have a quick question because it just hit me, like literally just hit me. If RDJ wasn't Tony Stark, could Johnny Depp have done it? Would that have been a good pick for Tony?
I don't think Johnny has. You could argue Jack Sparrow is an arrogant character, but not to the caliber of Iron Man. I don't know if Johnny would be as believable as a rich, spoiled, genius prick.
Okay. I just had to throw that out there because,
if it was the 90s, I would have gone Tom Cruise.
By the way, there's that thing I think it was on Facebook I saw. Did you see that where it's like the with the Avengers
90s version? It's like fucking Thor is Brad Pitt or some shit.
Right, and David Hasselhoff is Nick Fury because he actually played
David
Nick
Hasselhoff
Fury
is
in
Nick
the
Fury.
90s.
Yeah, I saw it. Eddie Murphy was Falcon.
I think it was, yeah. I don't remember all of it, but yeah.
It was
funny.
good, man. I pretty much agreed with it. I was kind of like, David Duchovny as Hulk?
Yeah, I could see him as Banner. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. The only thing that stayed consistency was Thanos. Thanos was the same Thanos, but yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the same Thanos.
No, it was Bruce Willis.
No, but the graphics, they say it in the beginning. If it was shot in the 90s and Thanos stayed the same, that's what it says when it starts.
Okay.
Yeah. So it might have been a different voice. To be fair, I was in a place where I couldn't hear the audio. I could only watch the video, so I didn't get to hear the voice they used. So if they did change the voice, then yeah. But,
I think Keanu Reeves was like
Cap.
They wanted Keanu.
I think he was Cap.
No. It was Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
I think it was Michael J. Fox or something was like Spider-Man.
I could see that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
really, we talked about the Back to the Future episode.
We said Holland
was basically doing
the reboot,
fucking
and we
J.
said
Fox,
if they ever did a Back to the Future like remake, that at this point, like if they did it like right now, that's who should play Marty.
100%.
Yeah.
There is another thing about Pirates that I want to touch on.
Okay.
The sword. The fucking infamous sword that Will makes for Commodore Norrington.
Yeah.
Did you track where that sword goes? That sword makes a lot of ground in those first 3 movies.
The last time I remember seeing it is the guy that's basically running the East India Trading Company, or at least that branch of it in the Caribbean, had it. But that's the last time I remember seeing it.
So you're right. That's the second time it comes back. The third, and ultimately final time, is Norrington gets stabbed by Bootstrap.
Yes.
And so he's laying there kind of dying, and Davy Jones says, "Do you fear death?"
Right.
And then he takes his sword, stabs Davy Jones with the sword. Davy Jones, and then Norrington dies, and then Davy Jones says, guess not. Pulls the sword out, says, nice sword, claims it as his own.
Huh.
So, and ultimately, he is using that sword to fight Jack Sparrow and everybody else.
By the way, just to that same, because I know that same sequence, the wedding that takes place during the fight, I thought was pretty fun. Like, to me, that was just fun. You know, Barbossa.
I loved how Barbossa was just like, just get on with it.
Yeah. So, by the way, I don't know if that was a character design or not, but Jeffrey Rush looked rough in that fifth one. He looked bad. His eyes were all red and bloodshot through like 90% of the movie.
All of them. All the pirates had like yellow eyes, like fucking chlamydia or something.
Jaundice. That's what yellow eyes is. Yeah.
So back to the sword. Davy Jones uses that sword to stab Will in the heart.
Okay.
Will made the weapon that ultimately killed him.
Yeah, there you go.
It's so bizarre how this and I gotta give the fucking writers what are their names? Elliot and Rossio.
Hold on.
they did some great writing. Like, they really established some fucking great writing because they would reference like films. Like, there's a part where when they use it, I think it's the first one, when they cannon blast all like a bunch of just bullshit, like forks and spoons and shit.
Yeah.
It shows Pintle and Rigetti, the fucking dude with missing the eye and the false eye.
Yeah.
Their names are Pintle and Rigetti. They like look out and there's like fucking spoons and shit surrounding them from the blast, and like one of them's in like the false eye, like a fork in the eye.
Yeah.
The same camera shot is the same way when the Kraken attacks them. And it's like it's the tentacles running up and they happen to look and they're just like, it's the same POV, like, oh shit.
Oh wow. I don't think I caught that. You were right. It's Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio, I think is how you would say that.
Rossio. That's probably Rossio.
Yeah. So those are your writers. Yeah,
man. And that's why I still think, I mean, obviously, I would say the first three are just the best.
Yeah. I mean, no, they are the best. As I've been sitting here and we've been talking about it, you asked me how I would rank them. And you said that like 2 hours ago. But, and off air, we had talked about that last week, and I think I had given you the order of 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. I think was the order I gave it to you. And I think I would still hold to that order.
Any guess what I would rank it?
You did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when we talked about it. I'm assuming it's still the same.
Yeah, I mean, but you made a point that like 2 and 3 basically are part 1 and part 2 of one storyline.
I agree. Yeah. And I did confirm they were shot at the same time. I never told you, but
you're right about that. So if we're going that implication that basically 2 and 3 is just one long fucking movie, then I neither like if 2 and 3 just happen to be numerically that way, it doesn't mean I like 3 less than I like 2.
Sure, because it's just the one complete story. It's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is really how it kind of.
No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5.
Fuck you. All right.
That's how I'd rage that shit.
Yeah, you do have a big range. I don't even know what that means.
I'm talented.
Yeah. Do we have anything else on the Pirates movies we need to cover? I think we hit all the.
I think we really kind of got to it, but I think the main reason why it was so good is because it flips the Pirates storyline, which is it's pirates returning treasure, not looking for it.
Yeah, they're also a lot of the ways the good guys in these movies. You know, if you're looking for a good guy, bad guy kind of thing, the pirates are primarily the good guys in these movies. You know.
Well, it even goes with. Yes, I'll bring up the fifth one again, but Salazar is not a pirate.
No.
He's a Spanish commander. He's a naval commander.
Well, all the enemy in all of them are commanders to some capacity. You got Norrington in the first one. You got the East India Trading Company, which is not exactly a commander, but they're definitely more naval than pirates are. And then in the fourth one, you know, it's the British Empire trying to get the
and the Spanish.
The Spanish, but more so through the length of the movie, you get more from the British. But yeah.
The Spanish led by fucking totally the pirate formerly known as Prince.
Huh?
The fucking Spanish captain who's trying to race them to destroy the fucking Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not Prince. The art it's obviously not the actual guy, but he looks so much like Prince with like the purple suit and the fucking ruff.
Oh, sure. Okay. I didn't know what you were getting at. I lost where you were getting at. So my fault.
It's the pirate formerly known as Prince. All right.
Yeah.
That being said, you know, bring me that horizon.
So before we end off tonight, there was something I wanted to talk about, not related to pirates. If you remember, I said that.
Okay,
earlier.
It'll be our post-credit scene.
Well, no, I have our post-credit scene already. I know what I'm using. But hey, I I
was making a joke, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know you do. This is our first recording since the anniversary episode. We've put out material that we had previously recorded, but this is our first sit-down recording session since the anniversary episode. And I just want to give another shout-out to the people that participated and a couple people that I don't think we mentioned at all in the episode. So first, let's do the shout-outs to the people that participated. Henry, Chasing Leia. Then you got the Body Count girls, Jessica and Bethany. I know they were a little eyebrow raising for you, but they were good guests and they were fun to have on. And honestly, the feedback I've been getting is those segments are the most popular from that episode. So, but also to Maddie Granger in April.
Of course.
And then wrapping
April,
it
May,
up.
June.
April, May, June. Yep. And then wrapping it up with Mike Driscoll. Great stories about meeting Kevin. So it was really a good time. Want to give some love out to we never mentioned Mark, my buddy Mark. He's not as daily integral, but I will say something that I meant to say on the anniversary episode that I didn't get to. Before we ever did our first conversation, forget recording, our first Skype conversation, I was having real technical problems getting it to work because, and you've seen my setup, so the way it's set up, it's very kind of complex because ultimately we wanted to record eventually, so I figured I needed to set that up. And I had never recorded via Skype before you. My previous podcast was with a co-host that I could always be in the same room with. So you plug two microphones into the soundboard, you plug it into the recording computer, and it was, off we go, And
you're off, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas with us, it's a little more complicated. I have to run like 5 or 6 different wires, and then on the technicalities aren't important. Mark helped me set that up. He spent like an hour with me on Skype, on the phone, trying to make it work. And
I never knew that.
Yeah. So and he doesn't look for praise and that kind of stuff. That's not Mark's demeanor or his nature. He doesn't look for that kind of stuff.
Regardless, thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
You really are kind of you're the technical wizard who kind of made this happen.
A little bit, yeah. So I wanted to give him some love because when we were rambling off names, now, to be fair, we had been recording for damn near 5 hours at that point, and we both were a little punchy, I'm sure, so, and I, while I was not drunk, I definitely had a few drinks, so by the end of it, I was, a little delirious, but Mark needed love, and we didn't give it to him, and as much as we should have, we didn't, spurn him. We didn't say fuck you or anything, but
yeah.
So, and then just to all our fans and friends on Twitter, Facebook, we've been getting a lot of real positive feedback. Can I quickly tell you the most common review I've been getting? I think I've said this to you off air, but I want to put it on the recording before we.
It's that I'm loud.
No, you are, but I get that all the time. I'm talking about the anniversary episode specifically.
Oh, okay. What?
Everyone is. Said stuff like they'll comment to me on Twitter, 4.5 hours, almost 5 hours, really? And then 4.5, 5 hours later, I get another tweet going, okay, that was worth it. Like that's the most common thing I've been getting. There's only one person who thought that we really should have split it into 2 episodes, and I get where he's coming from, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but I understand where he's coming from, and my response back was normally I would have, but because it was a celebration, I felt like it needed to be one big piece. So,
agreed. So are you going to split this up where it's like nothing about Pirates of the Caribbean?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
We're just retconning that whole portion of the episode.
You're going to retcon everything except all the praise you said of the 5th movie.
Yeah, basically. The rest of it's all shit. Yeah.
Edit my whole fucking tantrum out.
Hiya, everyone. Stephanie here with a few thank yous and FYIs on how you can get in touch with and follow PodAskew. Oh yeah, and the guys. Let's start with a huge shout out thanks to Dubbed in English for the opening theme music, 96 Reasons. If you're trying to find them online, they've dropped off the face of the earth. Just kidding. But no, really, their music is offline now, so send an email request to podaskew@gmail.com or CJ's Twitter handle at Samuel_Blade, and he'll throw you a copy of the full song and or the whole EP, Plan 9. Also, let's give a big thanks to Samuel Lemons for our closing music theme, Askew. I encourage you to discover more of Samuel's masterfully manipulated rhythms on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. I don't know how you're listening to this now, but you can find other PodAskew episodes in several places, starting with iTunes and Stitcher, where a quick high-star rating from you goes a long way in helping us hit the top of the charts. Or you may prefer Google Play Music. Don't want to be strapped down by an app? Then find us on podcast search engine, Listen Notes. Type in PodAskew, yes, that's all one word, into any of the aforementioned searches, and PodAskew will pop right up on whatever screen you're using. And of course, there's our founding site that started it all, Podcast Garden, at www.podcastgarden.com/podcast/PodAskew. By the by, if you're looking to host your own show, Podcast Garden is the ideal place for all your podcast hosting needs at a very affordable price. Now, if you want to agree with or yell at the guys directly, follow them and the show on Twitter. For the show, at PodAskew. For Rico, at RantsRico. And again, CJ is at im_Blade. Finally, let's not forget our biggest thank you is to you for listening, subscribing, rating on iTunes and Stitcher, and promoting our show by being our fans. CJ and Rico truly appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon.
Why is the rum always gone?